There is a thing that people say, and you may have said it yourself, to a tired friend, or to the tired mirror this morning. They won't remember this. They won't remember the way you held them that first year. They won't remember if you came when they cried, or how long you took to arrive. And it is true, in the way that some true things miss the point entirely. They will not remember it the way you remember things, not as a story with a beginning and an end, not as something to be told at a dinner table decades from now. The part of the brain that builds those memories is still too new, still growing into itself, like a seedling too young to remember the rain that fed it. But memory is not one thing. It has many rooms. And the memory that lives in the first years, the kind that does not need words, the kind that lives in the body and the nervous system and the deep quiet places of the brain, that memory is not a lesser thing. It is the foundation. Everything else is built on top of it. Developmental psychologists call it by different names: implicit memory, procedural memory, emotional memory. But what it really is, the memory that is not recalled but felt, the memory that lives not in what your child can tell you, but in who they are, how they meet the world. Whether their first instinct is to reach toward it or to hold themselves apart, that memory is being written right now, in the ordinary moments of your ordinary days. Not whether you pick them up, everyone does that, but how. The tension in your hands, the speed of the movement, whether there is calm in the way you hold them or something more hurried, more uncertain. Your baby's nervous system reads these things with a precision that no scientist has ever been able to match. Research on the quality of early physical handling has found that infants show distinct physiological responses, heart rate, cortisol, muscle tone, that correspond not to whether contact happened, but to what kind of contact it was. A baby lifted by calm hands responds differently than one lifted by rushed hands, even if the lifting takes exactly the same number of seconds, 10,000 times in the first year. That is how many times the average parent lifts their baby, 10,000 small deposits into the same account. You cannot spoil a baby under 12 months by responding to their cries. This is one of the most settled findings in all of developmental science, and the reasons it matters go far beyond the immediate moment. When a baby cries and a caregiver comes warmly, consistently, without long delay, something is placed in the developing nervous system. Not a memory in the narrative sense, but biology. A quiet expectation written into the body. Distress is temporary. Reaching out works. The world contains people who answer. Harvard calls it serve and return. The back and forth of signal and response, building the neural architecture of a person who can, later, regulate their own emotions. Each exchange is a brick. Each consistent arrival is another brick. And the structure being built from all those bricks is the capacity to love, to be loved, to stay when things are hard. Conversely, when cries go unanswered, not sometimes, not imperfectly, but again and again, a different deposit is made. The brain begins to quiet the signaling systems that produce distress calls, because those systems are using energy for no return. The baby does not stop feeling. They stop believing anyone is listening. Come when they cry, not in a panic, not to fix it instantly, just to be there. I heard you. I am here. That is enough. Your baby is not glancing at your face. They are studying it with the total, unblinking attention that only infants bring to the most important object in their world. They are building a map of you, of who you are, of whether the world you live in is safe. What they are looking for, specifically, is a face that is glad to see them, not a performed gladness, not a smile manufactured, because that is what one is supposed to do when a baby appears. Actually glad, the face that changes the moment they come into the room, the warmth in the eyes that arrives before any decision to have it. Research by the developmental psychologist Daniel Stern called this attunement, the degree to which a caregiver's emotional responsiveness in face-to-face moments, predicts the entire landscape of a child's emotional development. Whether the bids the baby makes are met with a face that matches them or exceeds them in warmth. The face you make when you look at your baby is building their sense of self. A small, embodied belief, not thought, but felt, that they are the kind of person whose presence brings joy to the room, that showing up adds something, that they are wanted. Let the gladness arrive before you decide to show it. That half second before the managed smile, that is the one that matters. Your baby has one question they are working on, more than any other, in these first years. It sounds like this: every moment of distress is an experiment. The dependent variable is you. Do you come? Do you stay? Do you receive the difficulty? Or does the difficulty make you withdraw? The Minnesota Longitudinal Study of Risk and Adaptation, one of the longest-running developmental studies in history, followed children from birth into adulthood and found that felt security in infancy predicted the quality of their relationships, their mental health, their resilience under stress, and their academic achievement decades later. The effect size was larger than almost any other variable they measured. What built felt security was not the absence of hard moments. It was the presence of repair. The parent who got it wrong and came back, who lost their patience and returned with softness, who stayed in the relationship even when the moment was difficult. The staying, across thousands of hard moments, is what is remembered. Not in words, in the body, in the particular way an adult reaches toward people or pulls away when life becomes difficult. Your baby has been listening to your voice since the 25th week of being alive inside you. The melody of your speech, its rhythm, its pitch, the emotional signature carried in the sound before any words arrive, is one of the oldest forms of information their brain processes. They are an expert in your voice. They can read its emotional content with a speed and accuracy no adult can match. The soundtrack of your daily life, the quality of your voice when nothing particular is happening, the tone you carry through the house on a quiet afternoon. Your baby is processing all of it, filing it away, building an implicit map of what the world sounds like when it is safe. Research from the University of Oregon found that even sleeping infants showed detectable stress responses to nearby speech with angry or distressed tonal content. The words were irrelevant. The emotional signature of the sound was what reached them. Your voice, unhurried, warm, narrating the ordinary world in a tone that says, everything is fine and you are here. This is not nothing. It is everything. Talk to them. Narrate. The words are almost irrelevant. The tone is everything. This one is the hardest to hear because the phone is always there and the demands on it are real. But here is what the research shows. A study in child development found that even brief, frequent interruptions in parental attention, looking at a phone for 30 seconds during play, were enough to measurably disrupt the serve and return process that is the primary mechanism of early brain development. Not long absences, 30-second interruptions, repeated throughout the day. Here is why this matters. Your baby's brain develops primarily through contingent interaction, responses that happen in direct, real-time reaction to what the baby just did. The loop of signal and response, completed thousands of times a day, is how neural architecture gets built. When your attention is divided, the loop does not close. The signal goes out. The response is delayed or distracted. 30 minutes of complete presence is worth more than 3 hours of partial presence. Every single time, put it down. For the 20 minutes you are on the floor with them, the messages will still be there. This moment will not. Your baby is examining something, a shadow on the wall, the movement of your hands, an object they have been watching for longer than seems reasonable. What do? Most parents redirect. They offer something else, something more obviously interesting. They assume that what the baby is looking at cannot be as remarkable as it appears, and they try to improve on it. Research on joint attention, the practice of sharing focus on the same object or experience as the baby, consistently shows that following the baby's attentional lead produces stronger language development, stronger social cognition, and stronger neural development in the regions associated with executive function. More than parent-directed interaction, more than any enrichment program, just looking at what they are looking at. When you follow their attention, you are communicating something direct and true. What you find interesting is worth my interest. Your curiosity matters. What you notice. I notice, too, that communication, deposited across thousands of small interactions, builds a child who trusts their own perception, who believes that what they find has value, who will someday be an adult who trusts themselves, follow their gaze, be interested in what is interesting to them. That is how you build a person who knows who they are. Your toddler falls. Your baby cries about something that seems, to you, completely trivial. Can something in your voice or your face or the way you are holding them communicates, "This is too much. I need you to stop." These moments happen to every parent. Question is not whether they happen. The question is what the accumulated pattern of them teaches. Research on what John Gottman called emotion coaching, acknowledging, naming, and sitting with a child's difficult emotions rather than redirecting or dismissing them, found that emotion-coached children showed stronger emotional regulation, better physical health, higher academic achievement, and stronger friendships by age 8. The implicit memory being built in these moments is not about the specific emotion that was dismissed. It is about emotions in general. It is about whether having strong feelings is safe, whether the people who love you can hold the full version of you. Let them be not okay. Let the cry happen before the reassurance. That 30-second pause, receiving the emotion rather than managing it, is teaching something no flashcard can teach. That feelings are survivable, that having them is okay. You will lose your patience. You will respond with less warmth than you intended. You will have moments where you communicate something you would not choose to communicate if you were thinking clearly. These moments are not what shapes your child's development. What shapes it is what you do next. Ed Tronick found that the most attuned parents are in genuine synchrony with their babies only about 30% of the time. The other 70% involves misattunement, missed signals, disconnection. What distinguished secure attachment from insecure attachment was not the 30%. It was the repair, the return to connection after the rupture, when you come back after a hard moment. Gentler hands, warmer eyes, a voice that says, "I am here. We're okay." You are teaching your child that relationships survive difficulty, that the person who made a mistake comes back, that love is not conditional on everything going well. Make the repair every time, not almost every time, every time. This is the last one. It is the simplest, and it is the one most easily lost in the genuine exhaustion of caring for a small person. Not whether you love them, of course you love them, but whether you enjoy them, whether your baby, in the ordinary daily moments of being near you, experiences the specific thing of being found delightful by another person. Research on the felt sense of being enjoyed, the experience of having your presence produce visible pleasure in another person, shows this is one of the most powerful inputs into early self-concept development. The baby who is enjoyed by their parent builds something specific, the implicit belief that their presence is a good thing. That showing up adds something. That being exactly who they are is welcome. This is not built in the grand moments. It is built in the spontaneous laugh when they do something surprising. The "oh, look at you" that arrives before any decision to say it. The moment you put everything down because what they were doing was genuinely interesting to watch. That face, that laugh, that moment of real delight in who this particular small person is. It is being filed in the body, in the slowly forming sense of self that will shape how your child moves through every relationship, every challenge, every moment when the world asks them. Let the answer be yes. In your face, in your laugh, in the ordinary moments that feel small and are not. These 10 things, none of them require money. None of them require a different version of you than the one you already are. They require presence, the specific, repeated, ordinary presence of a person who shows up, who comes when they are called, who stays when things are hard, who makes the repair after the hard moments, who follows the gaze and receives the emotion and lifts with calm hands and makes the face that means. Your child will not tell the story of these ordinary days, but they will carry them in the way they reach toward people or pull away, in the way their body feels when someone gets close, in the wordless expectation they carry beneath every thought. You are answering that question right now, in the smallest moments,